Well, here's a solids and context question, which is a nice challenge. Now, it's challenging in a couple different ways. First of all, the cone is upside down, which isn't quite what we're used to. And as you look at it a bit more closely, you realise we seem to be missing a diameter here. Okay, so we have that little problem to solve. We have the diameter of the ball, but of course the ball is in an annoying position, so we're going to have to rotate it back into a simple position, solve that, and put it back in place. Okay, so let's look at our cone first, because we always want to try and draw the cone first. Well, what do we know? We know the total height of it, and we have an angle here. Okay, and that's how we're going to get this. And it's worth thinking that that is also 60 degrees there. Okay, so we can draw these two ones up, and I think we're going to figure out where that point is, and we can project back down. All right, so we'd normally start with the circle, but look, in this case we can't. So let's pop in an XY line. Okay, there's XY. Now, we'll give a nice big long line here for the center of our cone. And let's go and see where 80 is. Here we go. Off the camera nicely, so we'll just readjust. There you are, all sorted. So we are going to give ourselves a construction across at this height. There we are. And up it comes. Now I know I can see this side, so I'll pop this one in heavy. And the other side we're going to get like this. Now the other side I may not see, because there is a ball there and there's stuff going on, so we'll leave that as a construction. We'll come down here, and just to give yourself a rough idea of how it's all going to go, that is my diameter, whatever that is. So it needs to be about that far down, so we'll just set our center there. Okay, so we'll just put a construction line across, and we'll go and draw that. Okay, we'll actually see the whole thing. We'll just double check that's fitting nicely. Yep, that's the same there, and that's the same there. Right. So it turns out that actually wasn't so bad. And when you get into these things, they're not too awful. But what about the little ball? Well, the ball is here at the moment. If we put it there, it'd be much easier to solve. So let's roll it around the cone, staying in contact to there, and then we'll bring it back. All right, well, it's 48 in diameter, so therefore its radius 24. Always watch that. So what we'll do is we'll come up to here. Okay, so first of all we'll get our little line 24 off the ground. There we are. And we'll just mark that. We'll do that in green, because we've sort of had a little habit of doing this in green, haven't we? There we go. So this is 24 mil off the ground. Now, how are we doing the other bit? I think for a bit of variety, we're going to bisect this one, just again to see. This is one of our two techniques we can use. So there we are. Now I'm just going to make sure I don't line up with this line and cause any confusion. So my compass is just set to any distance really. Choose a fairly sensible one is better. And then there we go. There we are. And this is my bisector. Okay, and bisector of the angle. And that's the angle there that we bisected. So we know my center has to be here. Now, that is not my real center. That is my simple center. Okay, remember when we rotated this back around, it's the kind of easy one. So what we'll do is we'll just see how we can draw that. Now we'll have to project this down anyway. All right. Now, and this one I'm not going to draw it in the circle, but you can imagine this is there'll be a sphere there touching this and touching the ground. kind of sitting out. We're going to rotate that sphere back around. Now, of course, because we know the diameter, all we actually need to do is rotate the center. So this one here, okay, that's my simple center. I know it's on this line here, parallel to XY, because that's where I put it. Because when I look in elevation, I'll see the point of contact somewhere up there. Now, let's see what we can do. We are going to go and rotate that back. So again, it's spinning about the center of this, so it rotates around like that. And what we know is it kind of comes around, until when? Well, if we look at the drawing, until it meets this line at 60 degrees. So there we go. There's a line, so it went around, until there. Now, that's not so bad. So we need to just check our size, so I'll measure the 24mm radius of that. This is tucked in underneath, so we'll just do a construction line there, and that's the heavy bit. Now you may find that you prefer to do your dashed lines freehand like this. You have the construction line to guide you. Up to you really. To be honest, I find this a little bit easier. Well, on that arc anyway. Don't mind this bit. Okay, so there we are. Now, we're not quite done yet though, because we were asked to find the points of contact. And we also have to draw in the elevation. So let's go draw it in the elevation first. We'll get that bit figured out. Up it comes. So this comes back up this way. And there is my real center. Okay, real center. So we'll pop this down here. Okay, now I can see this whole thing, and you can actually see it in the question as well. It gives you a bit of a hint that that's all visible. So we'll pop this in there and heavy in these lines. And this is a hidden line because there is an edge behind it. And we just didn't put this one in the beginning. Okay. Now, the last thing we were asked to do is we did need to try and find the point of contact. So that's something we're going to have to try and figure out now. What we can look at is on our easier one, okay, could we find the point of contact where the easy one touches this? Well, we can, because that's not so hard to do. That's always going to be perpendicular, like this. I'm just going to do this in a little bit of orange so we can see it. All right, so that is my easy point of contact. Okay, it's when it was the whole thing was out here. Well, that easy point of contact had to be along this line. So let's go down and find it. We just project it down. That's coincidentally right above the center. That's just coincidence now, to be honest. Easy POC. And like everything, that just rotated back. So we had the easy one. There it is there. It rotated back until we got to the 60-degree line. And there it is, point of contact. I have it here, so I can project it up. Now we're nearly there. Remember, as it rolled around, it did stay at the same height. So we just come across from here, and there is my point of contact. So across from the easy one, because remember as it's rolling across, it just goes over there, and up here, up, 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 from where it is in plan. Because everything in plan and elevation can project up and down. There you have it.